What's good today, guys? Back with a sound check on the Viking horn kit. A couple days later, I told you guys I would bring you a sound if I would remember, and I'm going to give you a rundown of how I ran it and talk to you a little bit before I give you a sound on it. So, without further ado, you have to excuse the bed of my truck because it is a mess. This is the setup here. This is the compressor and the air tank that I have bolted in the corner of my trick bed, so that way I can still get my four-wheeler back here. What I did was I took 4 self-tapping screws and put in here because the hardware they give you is crap. I took 2 bolts that they actually give to me and drilled holes right here and mounted this down. I got 2 holding in there because I couldn't reach to this side, and it's not going anywhere, so it's in there pretty good. Also ran my wires down through one of the drain plugs right there to make it useful. And let's crawl up underneath and have a look. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. I don't have a light on me, so yeah, you're not going to be able to see that. Let me go grab a light. Let me grab a light so you guys can see how I ran this. It was pretty simple. While I grab a light, I'll go ahead and tell you some of the things that they send you are just pure garbage. So you might want to do a little bit of research on getting different pieces for it. But for the most part, what they sent me was pretty trash because the gauge. The gauge, for example, is the only bad piece that I got in my kit. The PSI gauge wheel, it's now wiggly and jiggly, but it still works. Sorry about that. Let me show you real quick. This guy right here, see it moving? It's already really loose, but it still works. It does still build up pressure. The switch gauge does work. It's rated at 150 PSI cutoff and 120 PSI kick on. So the compressor will kick on at 120. When it reaches 150, it will kick off. Now, let's crawl up under the rust bucket here. I have my horns mounted right there, pointing toward me. And I ran my wires up. This is a pretty important one right here. Your key thing is going to be grounds here. So one of my grounds are right there with a self-tap, and one wire goes to the horn and one wire goes in the cab. And we will have a look at how I ran it in the cab. So you gotta excuse the moans and groans. I'm an old fat guy, and it's hard for me to get down and up because I'm not as young as I used to be. I hit everything inside of there. So I'm not going to pop my hood, but I do have a battery cable that's ran here that goes over, and it runs down under my fender well, and it runs along the truss there all the way back to the compressor. That is my my battery wire that I ran. I did have to go get another switch because the switch they give you is a pain in the ass to work with. And so this is the switch I went and got here. Just a little one push button. I put it at a convenient spot so when I'm driving I can just reach down and it's right there. For some people, this is going to be a little bit rougher to run than most, but I have a 2002 Chevy Silverado, so it was pretty simple for me because all my stuff just mainly pops out like that. So, what we have here, excuse the brightness, I have a system in here too, so, I have my positive red that is ran to the horns itself. And my black I have tied into a cigarette lighter hot. And that is what's giving me power to my button. So, when we tuck all this back in here, and pop that back in place. Just like that. Everything's hidden. So, without further ado, this is what you guys want to hear. So this is inside the cab with just the passenger window and the driver window down. No engine running, no nothing. And that's pretty loud. You can hear it echo. I'm out in the country. What I'm going to do is set my phone on the tailgate, and I'm going to point it up, and I'm going to hit it on the tailgate and see if I can't get that compressor to kick on. So it dropped down to 100, below 120 or 120. Your gauge will kick on, and once it hits 150, it'll shut off automatically. Now, some people say these gauges here tend to go bad, so you might want to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on listening for your compressor. Compressor is kind of loud. It weighs about, I don't know, about 5 pounds maybe. Everything was pretty simple to hook up. The hose was about 4 or 5 foot long. So there it goes. It hit 150, it kicks off, and you're ready to blast again. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope this gave you some ideas on how to run it. And this horn is a Viking train horn kit that you can buy online. So like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do, but my job here is done. Thank you for watching.